Life is not just the passing of time. Life is a collection of experiences, their frequency, and their intensity. When my friend Mark died at age 44, someone says, that's young to die. But what if he lived 4 lifetimes in one? Might not be too young. So here's whatever the span of your life turns out to be, here's what you want to fill it up with: experiences and the intensity of those experiences.
Depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me, you know? And so a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster. You should think of the word depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play.
There are 4 things you need to know before you go out into the world. You remember these things and you'll be the best person you can be. First, look at this pencil. We know that in order for it to become a useful pencil, that from time to time, again and again, it's going to have to go through a resharpening. Well, if this pencil could feel, we can imagine how painful that would be. But that's what it takes for it to be a useful pencil. Life is much the same. Painful experiences and challenges come to us all. But it is through these opportunities that we build character and we grow. Second is to keep in mind that we'll be able to correct many of the mistakes you make along the way, just like this eraser. So if we learn from our mistakes, they're not mistakes. They're lessons we can use to do better the next time around. And third, just like this pencil, every place where you were used, so to speak, you leave your mark. You're writing your own story. And fourth, always remember, the most important part of you is what's inside.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you. It's cool to use the computer, don't let the computer use you. So, just be careful.
What come out your mouth is what's gonna come back to you. It's the law of attraction. All men are dogs. You finna meet all of them. I never get nobody. You're not. I can't lose this weight. You sure ain't. I'm gonna get fit this year. Strong possibility. I'll never be rich. Promise you won't. I'm gonna be rich one day. Strong possibility. That's how it works, man. It is the law of attraction. The moment you say it, you begin to change. It's the process. If you think big, you'll be big. If you think small, you'll be small.
Go to work on yourself harder than you work on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. Then, he said, if you work hard on yourself, you could make a fortune. So I worked hard on my job and made a living, but I learned, starting with those extra hours per week, learning these extra skills, I started working on myself. What could I do to start increasing my progress and make my health better, make my income better, make my investments better, make my value to the marketplace much better, get busy learning the second skill and the third skill and the next language to increase my value. I got to get busy and do that. See if you will do that. I promise you, one of the greatest motivating factors in the world is progress.
The best rule to use when criticism springs to your mind is to wait. Wait a while and try to look for the reasons behind the act you would criticize. It's also a good time to ask oneself, who am I to be criticizing others? Am I really all that great and pure and all-knowing and perfect? By all means, wait until the heat of anger is dissipated. This is one of the world's most difficult things to do, and it takes a very mature person to master the wisdom and self-control to withhold criticism. But it's the way to greatness, and one of the best-known ways to earn the respect and or love of others. If you're worried about your income or your future, you're concentrating on the wrong end of the scale. Look at the other end. Concern yourself only with increasing your service, with becoming great where you are, and your income and your future will take care of themselves.
The greatest people on the planet have suffered the most. Suffering is not bad. I'm suggesting suffering is awesome. The ego runs from suffering because it's the death of the ego. But I believe pain, difficult times, failure, loss is purification and preparation for personal heroism.
The many people you will love, and they are not necessarily the same people that you will make a life with. Are you looking for a love story, or are you looking for a life story?
I want to tell all of you that are out there chasing a dream to keep chasing it. I know right now you might feel alone. You might feel like it's just you out there doing it. Everyone thinks you're crazy. People are talking bad about you. Family's worried about you. Bless their heart. Let them worry about you. Let me tell you something. I want you to hear me. Yes, you. You were born to do something great with your life. Daggone it, you were. You're not average and ordinary. There's this part of your heart that wants to be somebody so bad, that wants to make a difference for other people, that wants to win, that wants to accomplish something great. And guess what? God didn't put that dream in your heart as some joke. It's not a hallucination. You're not crazy.
You can do what you put your mind to. And if you continue to put your mind to it, the game opens up new levels.
You cannot be great if you cannot operate in chaos. That's my life. Because if you can operate in chaos, the world becomes Disneyland. Problems become scratches. I can lose my car. Somebody can blow it up. I'm going to go have some sushi with my wife and think about the solution, not the problem. If you forgive a person, but you hang on to the anger, the pain, and the hurt, and you say you forgave the person, and you don't understand what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you.
You don't have to be right one time. You don't have to figure it all out in advance. You can be wrong. You can pick the wrong career. You can pick the wrong job. You can pick the wrong spouse. You can pick the wrong whatever. But you get it right one time, you're set. But if you don't try, and if you don't go out there and try all those different things, you'll never get that one time.
Become a good reader. See, one book might save you 5 years. Did you know there's books on how to be stronger, more decisive, be a speaker, be a leader, have a better effect on other people, develop your personality? Did you know there's books on that, and people don't read them? Did you know that hundreds of successful people have written their stories in books, and they wrote down how they did it, and people don't read it? How would you explain that?
People say that money changes people. It really doesn't. You know what I learned about money? Money don't change people. Money allows you to be more of who you really are. See, if you're a kind person, when you get a lot of money, you become a kinder person. If you're an when you get a lot of money, you become a big hole. It's money. It allows you to amplify whoever you really are.
If you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person. But if you leave yourself open to experience, despite what others think, then you will learn and grow.
Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Think about every poor decision you've made in your life. There was more emotion that was involved in it than there was mind. Every single one of them. Think about it. It really was. Your feelings keep you in bed. Your mind tells you, get up. Think about it. Sometimes you're the smartest guy in the room, but you don't want anybody to know it. Let them think you're a dummy. You don't know anything. There's other times when you're not the smartest guy in the room. But if you keep your mouth shut, nobody knows that. They don't know it. So you let them talk, commit themselves. By the time they're finished, then you can become the smartest guy in the room because they told you everything.
You only have 2 times to make a first impression. One's how you look. 2, what comes out of your mouth. Okay? A lot of guys and gals look the part, but as soon as they open their mouth, they are engaging in self-sabotaging activity.
If you really want to be transformed, you have to live an intentional life. This is so simple, I don't want you to miss it. Most people don't lead their life, they accept their life. And when you accept your life, you are living on things that are not worthy of your time and effort and energy. To go uphill, you have to be intentional. Nobody ever went uphill by accident. You've never read a book on accidental achievements. You have to be intentional with what you do and who you are.
Feeling stuck is a signal that you've stopped growing. That's it. And when most people feel stuck, since They don't understand that it's tied to a fundamental need for growth. We believe it's an existential crisis and we blow up our lives. For most human beings, what actually will get you feeling like you're not stuck is having something in the future that you're looking forward to. Or taking a class where you're learning something. Or changing a routine so that you try a new class at the gym. Learning anything gets you back in touch with a fundamental need. It makes you start to feel like things are moving. And from that place of feeling a little bit more empowered, you'll be able to make better decisions about what big things need to change in your life.
Always say less than necessary. By talking too much in a meeting or in any kind of situation, you make people inadvertently smell weakness on you. A lot of communication between humans is nonverbal. We feel, we sense something from you, and it communicates, and we have an impression. And people who talk a lot generally give an impression of they don't know how to control themselves. Whereas people who kind of say a little bit less, who kind of speak in riddles almost, who say, yeah, that's great, I'll think about it, or whatever, gives off an impression of power, as if they know more than they actually do.
Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't just dream about what you're going to do. Don't criticize somebody else for what they're not doing. You be it. Be about it. Be about that action and go do it. Keep your eye on your intention. Don't let any outside distraction or your own insecurity stop you from your goals. Embrace that struggle. Surviving that struggle will strengthen you.
You are not stuck. You can begin to make changes by changing the way you think. And above all, go to the mirror and look in your eyes and say, I love you. I really, really love you. It'll work miracles.
It doesn't matter where you are in life. It really doesn't. Because the great thing about life is it's always your next move. Your next move that counts. No matter where you are, you can change your life if you want to. It's always your next decision.
And if I can leave you with anything, I want to leave you with this. Hear me clearly when I say this. There are people who come in your life sometimes to be there for a season. They weren't meant to be there always. Sometimes we find ourselves hooked up with people that we think are there for a lifetime, but they were only supposed to be there for a season. There are people who come in your life like boosters for a rocket. If you ever watch a rocket go into space, the boosters fall off when it reaches a certain altitude. Some people are not equipped to handle the altitudes that you're going to. So don't be afraid when they fall off. They're not bad people. They just couldn't go where you're going.
If you're still excited about what you did 5 years ago, you're not growing today. I've had a lot of accomplishments in my life, and I look back and I say that was nice. But can I tell you something? I live in the moment. I'm living, hey, that was good, but today is better. And just constantly stretch. Don't ask yourself how long will it take. Ask yourself, how far can I go?
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And, most people don't want that.
So simple to say, so difficult to do.
Oh, amen.
Because subconsciously, your brain is always trying to get you comfortable. And it will tell you any story as to why you shouldn't go do that. I don't have the money. I just got married. I just got divorced. I just got kids. And Brexit, blah, 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 blah. It's constantly trying to convince you not to take the risk.
Correct.
I want to read you the best line I've ever heard in my life. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually, you've been planted.
Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're only on this planet to be you, not someone else's imitation of you.
2 key phrases for your notes. Here's the first one. Life and business is like the changing seasons. That's the first phrase. Life and business is like the changing seasons. Now here's the second phrase. Very important. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. And see, that's how life gets better for you. Not by chance, but by change.
When you are struggling and you start thinking about giving up, I want you to remember the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. Our hope that if we work hard enough and believe in ourselves, then we can be whatever we dream, regardless of the limitations that others may place on us.
And everybody has a different talent. And the reason we're all so messed up is because you're looking at everybody else's talent and wishing you had some of their talent. All the energy that you spend thinking about, wishing about, being jealous of, envious of anybody else is energy that you're not only putting out is going to come back to you negatively, but you're taking that away from you. All your energy should be forced on, what do I have to offer? What do I have to give? How can I be used in service? Because Dr. King's message of not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service.
You care about what people think about you. You have to learn one thing in life. You cannot love everybody and appreciate everybody, and it goes both ways. If you don't learn that now, you're going to always be the fool of somebody. Live your life to the full. Everything you do, and as long as you don't hurt anybody and you're happy doing what you do, let them talk.
You didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. She was a painter. And she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s. And one of the most prolific painters.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Never
So have
too late.
fun. That's what it's all about.
When you forgive, you love. And when you love, God's light shines on you.
Any relationship, you have to ask yourself, what is the cost of being in this relationship? What's it costing me to be here? And if the cost is your dignity, your self-respect, your individuality, your health, your peace of mind, if that's the cost, let them go.
Is it good or bad for a relationship to have a fight from time to time?
Oh, it's a must. It's obligatory. But even if it's every day, the question is not so much the fighting. The question is really the repair. I think relationships follow a cycle of harmony, disharmony, and repair. When people fight about the same stuff, what they're fighting about is not the towel or the bathroom or who takes care of what or who takes the children every day or who is always late. What they're fighting about are actually three key groups of themes that are underneath those plot lines, which is power and control, closeness and care, and respect and recognition.
I took an English class. I got a fail in English. And my English teacher said in front of the entire class, Lisa, you have to be the weakest writer I've ever met in my entire life. Don't worry, my story ends good. Don't feel sorry for me. And then the same year, my speech teacher said, after giving me a D-, I knew I had an A in speech. Like, come on. He obviously didn't agree with me. He gave me a D- and said, quote unquote, Miss Nichols, I recommend you never speak in public, that you get a desk job. So here's the beauty of that story. Other people's perception of you ain't none of your business. Everything you've ever been through, sat through, rose through, cried through, prayed through, everything is a setup for your next best season.
What is the number one habit that you think all successful people have that everybody watching this should adopt immediately?
The number one habit is actually not a habit at all. It is a belief that leads to a habit. And that belief is that the number one thing in your life is your rate of growth. The word to remember is ROSE, rate of self-evolution. Your quest in life is to grow and grow and grow. Now, if this becomes your belief, all your habits align with this belief. Are you making time in your day to improve yourself? Are you making time in your day to read, to study, to watch Impact Theory, to do a Mind Valley quest? Are you making time to meditate because that helps you grow, to exercise because that helps you grow? And this is what people forget. We get stuck on this bullshit hamster wheel, chasing the dollars, trying to grow in our career, when we forget that none of that shit matters. It's all about us as a multidimensional human being, and are we growing?
The key to success is very simple. I've written 2 books on this. Is you must become very good at doing something that is important and valuable to an employer. You must become very good at it. There are no successful people who are average, and it takes a long time to become very good at something. But you must be determined from the beginning to work extra hours to become very good at the work that you do. If you do that, every door of opportunity will open for you. Your self-confidence will go up. People will admire you and respect you. Your employers will open doors for you. It's the most amazing thing, and yet only 10% of the population knows this. The biggest enemy of success, I would say there's probably 3 enemies of success.
Yeah.
The first big enemy is the comfort zone. But the comfort zone is where people become comfortable doing what they're doing, and they don't like to change. 80% of the population finds reasons not to change, even if the change can be positive or beneficial. The second thing that holds people back is what is called learned helplessness. This is where people feel, I can't do it. And the third enemy is what we call the path of least resistance, which is always looking for an easy way to achieve a result. But nothing worthwhile can be achieved easily. Everything worthwhile requires a long period of hard work, with many failures along the way.
If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's lesson number 1, the rich don't work for money. Don't you touch that stuff.
You said when someone gives you a paycheck, something inside of a person just shuts off.
The people that are being screwed today are the poor middle class because they work for money. You know, the bankers, they're not working for money.
They have money working for them.
Yeah.
Every morning, everybody in life starts off with the same amount of currency, 24 hours. At the end of the day, they all end up different because of the way they used their currency during that 24 hours. If you are smart and wise, obviously you spent some time reading books, listening to good tapes, or taking some studies somewhere, because you don't just wake up smart. And if you are stupid, dumb, ignorant, you bought that and you paid for it by the time you sat down watching 5 movies in a row on HBO. That's all you are. Whatever you trade your time for, you become. It's currency. You buy life with time. So if you want to change the quality of your life, you have to change how you spend your currency. Time.
The secret is to get and hold fast in your mind the mental image of the person you would most like to be. Then in every situation you act and talk as you feel that person would. You make the kind of decisions you think that person would. This is the way to constantly grow into a better, more effective person. You immediately begin to act with more confidence, and confidence is the first step to accomplishment. As your accomplishments begin to grow, which they most certainly will, real confidence slowly takes the place of the part you've been playing. Now, your life will not be transformed overnight. There will be no sudden miracles, perhaps, but steadily, day by day, you will grow into the image you hold in your mind. If you doubt this, try it for 30 days and watch what happens. You've got nothing to lose. The time is going to pass anyway. Why not put it to work, becoming the person you most want to become? It's the trick of the experts in every field.
You will never feel ready to do things that scare you. You will never feel ready to jump off the cliff. You will never feel ready to take that leap. And the reason why is based on science and research. Your brain is designed to protect you, and change requires risk. And so you are protecting yourself by saying maybe tomorrow. This is where the 5-second rule comes in super handy. So if you are constantly procrastinating, you probably have a bias towards thinking. And you can use the 5-second rule to literally push yourself to take action. All you're going to do is count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. This is a starting ritual that interrupts the patterns of overthinking, of fear, of anxiety, of procrastination, of comparison that are making you go, tomorrow, not today, I don't feel like it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your prefrontal cortex turns on. That's the part of the brain you need to either learn new behavior or take action. You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. You see, all habits have 3 parts. There's a trigger, and in the case of procrastination, the trigger's always stress. Then there's a pattern you repeat, and in the case of procrastination, it is to avoid doing something. And then there's a reward. You get a little stress relief. So next time that you're in a situation where you feel yourself hesitate, you spent way too much time checking out the highlights from last night's scores, what you're going to do is you're going to go, I must be stressed out about something. Acknowledge the stress. Then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to count to yourself because I want you to interrupt the habit that's stored here. Then I want you to just work, just for 5 minutes. And here's the other cool thing. We know based on research that if we can get you to start, 80% of you are going to keep going. But here's the thing. Once something's important to you, it never leaves your mind. If you always dreamt about being a singer-songwriter and you never did it, you will be haunted by that at the age of 70, because it's still right here, stored in the back of your mind. It's something that's meant for you, that's trying to call to you. You see, your dreams, you either pursue them or they fucking haunt you.
Just be calm when things are going well. Be calm. Don't think you're on top of the world in a sense. You always got to be wary, because I've seen it. I've seen people come. I've seen people go. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. You got to be chill. You got to just take what's good in your life and move forward cautiously and carefully. And thank God that you have that. Just it's very, very important not to overextend yourself when you think you got to. There's no such thing. Everybody's dispensable.
If you want to manifest things, first you have to focus on actually loving yourself. You are the big energy generator. You are what sends out the instructions for your whole life. And so if you focus on self-love, they say you have to be it in order to see it. So if you love yourself first and then be very selective with what you say to others and what you think, because both of those are going to generate quantum energies that go out into your existence and attract and pull back something that resonates with it.
We only attract the right people into our lives when we don't hide parts of ourselves. Because if you hide parts of yourselves, you're only attracting what they find attractive is parts that you haven't hidden. And it can be really uncomfortable to not hide parts of yourself, because chances are most people aren't going to vibe with you, but the right people are.
If you study people who are at the pinnacle of anything, you recognize that to get there, motivation was maybe 1% of the formula. Maybe. Winners don't need motivation. Winners need discipline. Discipline's about getting it done because it needs to get done, not because I feel like it. If you look at people that change the world, they're not doing it because they're motivated. They're doing it because they made a commitment to do it and they're disciplined to see it through. Discipline is far more important than motivation.
Nelson Mandela, across the world, is universally regarded as a great leader. He was actually the son of a tribal chief, and he was asked one day, "How did you learn to be a great leader?" And he responded that he would go with his father to tribal meetings, and he remembers 2 things when his father would meet with other elders. 1, they would always sit in a circle, and 2, his father was always the last to speak. I see it in boardrooms every day of the week. Even people who consider themselves good leaders, who may actually be decent leaders, will walk into a room and say, "Here's the problem, here's what I think, but I'm interested in your opinion. Let's go around the room." It's too late. The skill to hold your opinions to yourself until everyone has spoken does 2 things. 1, it gives everybody else the feeling that they have been heard. And 2, you get the benefit of hearing what everybody else has to think before you render your...
Before you judge, before you critique,
before you draw your conclusions about anyone's life, about what anybody did, about what you feel as if is going on in the world. Remember, you only know what you think you know.
The best thing you can do is to be exceptionally good at something. If you're the best doctor in town, if you're the best lawyer in town, if you're the best whatever it may be, whatever abilities you have can't be taken away from you. They can't actually be inflated away from you. Somebody else will give you some of the wheat they produce or the cotton or whatever it may be, and they will trade you for the skill you have. So the best investment by far is anything that develops yourself.
Nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares. What we're going through, how your body feels, nobody cares. We gotta do our job. But you're gonna hold true to what you believe, and you're gonna hold true to who you are, and you're gonna be that person, whether it's easy or it's not.
Be careful who you share good news with, because you want to share good news with people who are going to be genuinely happy for you.
My favorite line that Rich Dad said, Rich Dad said, money may not be the most important thing in the world, but it affects everything that is. It affects your lifestyle, it affects your health care, it affects your level of education. It affects everything on a day-to-day basis.
You want to be a man? You want to be a real man? You think you're tough? Go say sorry to all the people you've hurt emotionally first. That's a man. But that is a man without pride.
Thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain. Feelings are the vocabulary of your body. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So then if you wake up in the morning and you come back to your senses with a clean slate and you say, I don't feel anything, and you say, well, let me start thinking about all the problems in my life. Well, all those problems are connected to different people or different objects and things at different times and places. The moment you remember your problems, a memory is a record of the past. You're thinking in the past. Every one of those problems has an emotion associated with it. So all of a sudden you start feeling unhappy, you start feeling bitter, you start feeling frustrated. So now your body's in the past. So then most people then create a state of being that's connected to their past. And if they're in the familiar past, then they are going to crave the predictable future and they're going to fall back into routine.
Intentionally act like the person you want to become. Because when you intentionally act like the person you want to become, your brain sees you taking those actions, so your brain starts to change the way it relates to you.
You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. I started hearing those ideas age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life.
The inner reality creates the outer form. I learned this when I was in grade school. And the other is, the universe bears no ill to me. I bear no ill to it.
Stop criticizing yourself. Stop mistreating yourself. Begin to treat yourself as something that's very precious. And when you begin to love who you are, then you can love your neighbor because you love yourself.
If you decide you want to be rich, all you got to do is start. Why not? Who gonna stop you? Unless you tell it to the wrong person. Mama, listen to me. I'm going to be rich. Anybody rich in this family? Go in there and sit down somewhere. Get yourself a good job. Oh, mama, you must be right. No, mama could be wrong. Because what you have in your imagination, God didn't show it to your mama. I'm sorry. He showed it to you.
Like, I can't say this enough. Stop waiting. You could get hit by a bus next week. Do not waste your life waiting, worrying, or wishing for things to change. You gotta want it enough to do the work. Your dreams have a brick path that will get paved every single day, one brick at a time. All of the things that you dream and desire are just there waiting for you to reach out and freaking grab them. Stop killing your potential by thinking and doubting. It's exhausting. You guys have dreams to fulfill. You got a world to change. You got money to make. You got a life to live, happiness to feel. Get your butts out there and go do it.
You gotta have a plan. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? And your plan has got to have something I call the C5 complex. Your plan has got to be clear, concise, compelling, consistent, and committed. You've got to have a plan. And when you're trying to do something that you're truly passionate about, there is no plan B.
I wanna take you
Plan B sucks.
You have to master a new skill, but you're avoiding it because you know that you'll be bad at it when you first do it. And if you're perfectionistic, you're going to say, well, I can't allow myself to be bad at anything. I can't allow myself to be a fool. And no wonder. But the problem is when you try something new, you're always a fool. And so unless you're willing to be a fool, you can't learn anything new. You are a fool when you first try something new, but you're a worse fool if you don't try it.